Hello, 8th graders. I think I had you all last year for science class, so you should know I'm Mrs. Lindsley. Um, I want to go over a few things with you that are specific to science class. First, you can pull out your science book. It looks like this. I want to introduce you to how to use that science book. So get that out. And then you should be able to open it up and look in the front cover. This is your title page, acknowledgments pages. This is called the table of contents. You need to know where to find this because as we go through the year, I only use the science textbook as a resource. And I don't necessarily give you a page number. So I'll just say use your science book to find this information. You have to know how to look in a table of contents, chapter titles, subheadings, to find general pages where you're going to find that information. All right, I'm not going to give you page numbers. You should know how to use a textbook by your 8th grade year. In the back of the book, you have a tool called an index. The index will give you more specific information. It'll tell you where you're going to find certain words on which pages. So it'll list a whole series of pages if that word is found throughout the book. And if it's a bold page number, it means that there's a picture or a graphic that goes along with it. So if you're looking for very specific information, you want to use the index. The last thing I want to talk to you about is the glossary. The glossary for this textbook is for all the words that you might not be familiar with, and it is written in 6th to 8th grade language because this is a 6th to 8th grade textbook. Google is not necessarily written in 6th to 8th grade language. I know most of you just copy and paste your definitions from Google, which is fine. I'm not opposed to that, but you need to be aware that Google is not necessarily written for you, so you can't just copy and paste what you find there. Please look at the definition before you take it from Google. If you don't understand it, don't use it. Look in your book to see if the glossary has a better definition. Yes, it might mean you have to type something, but at least it's something you'll understand. And your words being written in student language is part of the rubric for this assignment. On that note, let me take you over to Google Classroom. Looking at the classwork section, scrolling down, you can get here later. You don't need to be here right now. In the science vocab section, it's the 3rd section down, you're going to see science vocab guidelines and rubric. When you click on that, is a document. The document explains science vocabulary, explains what I'm looking for. So first things, every word that I assign you or every term has to have a definition. You can't just give me a sentence or a picture. It has to have a definition, every single one of them. Then, if the word is written in black text on the word list, it also has to have a sentence. And the sentence has to show context, meaning. I have to understand you know the meaning of the word from your sentence. So do not give me a sentence like Mrs. Lindsley said the word cellular respiration in science class today. That doesn't cut it. It needs to be something that I can tell you know the meaning of the word. On the other hand, if the word is written in blue font on the word list, you can use a picture instead of a sentence. Find a good picture, something that shows that you understand the meaning of the word, and insert that with your definition. But every word gets a definition. And this document on my Google Classroom page pretty much spells out what I just said to you. It's due every Wednesday. I assign them on a Wednesday and they're due on a Wednesday. I expect to see that they're written in student language. I expect to see a definition. I expect to see either a sentence or a definition, or a sentence or a picture with it. The rubric down here spells out exactly how you get 5 points. Then underneath here, it says that I use these words throughout the unit, throughout the course. Every third section of words, every third week, we will have a quiz over the last 3 weeks. So it's usually only like 15 words because I only assign like 5 words at a time. Those words are also going to be used in journal questions or questions that I ask through my Google Classroom. Those are really good places to go to find out what I'm going to ask for short answer or essay type questions on a test or quiz. So you need to use these terms throughout science class. So you really have to understand them. Okay, you have to understand your definitions. In Google Classroom, so I'm going to close that. Under the science vocab section, you're going to see science vocab word lists. That's where I'm going to put every week in this same posting your vocab word lists. So you'll start to see the list, the groups of words grow on here. Multiple documents will be attached to this. Your first set of words is linked. Week 1 words. And for you guys, not one of those words is in blue. So every single one of these words, I expect to see a definition and a sentence. All right. Where do you find that again? Google Classroom, Science Vocab word lists. Week 1 is there. Next week I'll put week 2 there. And so on and so forth. I think you get that. I've also posted the assignment for that. If you wanted to get it started and even get it turned in, it is due September 9th, a week from today, because it's Wednesday, September 2nd, 3rd. Yes, today's September 2nd, sorry. So it's due a week from today. For you guys, it'll be due a week, or less than a week, because you're going to watch this on a Friday. You are familiar with this. You know how to attach an assignment. My recommendation, where you see view assignment here for me, you click on that, you have the same thing. This looks different for you. Up in the upper right hand corner, you're going to see add or create. I would go to add or create, drop down to a Word doc, and just create it right there. It puts your name on it. It puts week 1 on it. It just means that for every document you create, half of them, I've seen your documents, do not have a title. They're untitled. It drives me insane. If you link it directly to an assignment or create it from that assignment, it'll pop your name and the name of the assignment onto it. So you can just create the document right there. Some of you, I know you like to go to my word list, make a copy of that, and then just define right on there. Well, just copy and paste those onto a document you created in the assignment. You are welcome to use Quizlet. If you don't understand how to use Quizlet, I will do a refresher course on Quizlet next week. But if you understand it well, you're welcome to use it. I do not want your science vocab emailed to me. I want it attached to this assignment in Google Classroom. Okay, moving on. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about was bell ringer activities. Because in the mornings, or for you, science is in the mornings, because teachers are moving, and we're moving our laptops, we're moving our carts of fun, we're bringing things into your room, there is kind of a 2-minute lapse of time, lag time, where I'm moving in, Mrs. Dyer might be moving out, and we're getting set up for the class. So for your classes, 8L, yours starts 8:08 is when I would start to get things ready for science class. 8:10 is when science class starts. 8S, 8:58 is when the first bell rings and I start moving into your room. 9 o'clock is when the second bell rings and class starts. At that first bell time, 8:08 and 8:58, I've assigned bell ringer activities. They will open up in your Google Classroom stream. So every day you come and check the stream and it will say bell ringer activity and the date, and it'll tell you exactly what to do. Go to the classwork section or go to this website or go and do this. It's a quick activity. It's usually something to get our class started. Okay, your first bell ringer activity, and you can pop open your Chromebooks, have Mrs. Mallory pause. Your first bell ringer activity is to complete a survey that you'll find in the classwork section. So if you go to classwork, you're going to find, it says complete welcome survey or welcome survey. That's your first bell ringer activity for today. Now every day you will see a new bell ringer activity. Those bell ringer activities sometimes will be graded, sometimes they won't. Even if they're not graded, I expect them to be completed because I will give participation grades for the ungraded bell ringer activity. So make sure you're getting those finished. I'll give you a minute to go ahead and do that welcome survey. And then I believe Mrs. Mallory from here on is going to work on a Pear Deck with you, which is a new type of activity I would like to try this year. So take a minute, do the welcome survey, and then Mrs. Mallory is going to start the Pear Deck. I'll see you all on Tuesday.